8 things that you may be surprised, even shocked, to know about me. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel, and thank you for being here today. Today, we're going to have kind of a fun video. I'm going to give away 8 things about me that I doubt you know them. Now, maybe some of my regulars may know 1 or 2 things. I could have mentioned them in a video from years back, but I'll share about 8 things, and the last 2 might be actually shockingly surprising. So let's get started. We're just going to have some fun. All right, number 1, I never go barefoot. Now, I think a couple of you know that about me, but I always have something on my feet. It's either my cowgirl boots or my slippers, and once in a while flip-flops if I'm out in the backyard doing something, but my feet are always covered. Number 2, I have never watched any kind of sports game ever in my life. I don't like sports, I'm not interested in sports, and so therefore I've never even watched one game of any kind. Number 3, I have to have something matching when I'm dressed. All I can tell you is it has to do with colors. I think colors stick in my mind because when I go shopping, somehow a certain color will set something off in my head. Like I know I have something that would match it perfectly, even though I don't know what that thing is at the moment. And if I don't have something matching on, I just don't feel right. I mean, I cannot get dressed without matching something. So in other words, today this matches this. And it could be socks, it could be a color on my shoe. It has to be something. And it doesn't have to be like a blouse and earrings. It could be, socks and shoes, or my shorts and my top, or my shorts and my earrings, or something. But I will not be dressed unless something matches. Even if you can't see it, I have to know that on my body something matches. Number 4, I never wanted to be anything but a wife and mother. I never had any aspirations of, going to college or wanting to work in the corporate world or get a government job, the post office, anything. All I ever wanted was to grow up, get married, and have a family. Number 5, I have only had 2 dates in my life. Well, maybe I should rephrase that. I only went on a date with 2 different people in my life, and that was my first husband and then Dave, who is my second husband. And with my first husband, we didn't really like go on a date because back then, you didn't have your own car. Guys didn't, girls didn't, and the family just had one car, so you couldn't borrow it just to go on a date. So he would come over to my house, and that was our date. We could sit in the living room and watch TV or talk or something like that. And with Dave, we only, quote, dated for 2.5 months before we got married. But I know we went out to dinner once at a Chinese restaurant, and I think we went to a work picnic. But other than that, he would just come over to my house because I worked 2 jobs a day and then one in the evening and didn't get home till 10 at night. So our dates were again in my home. Number 6, I was once on food stamps. And when I say once, I mean I went one time and got food stamps for the month and then never went back. I was at a time in my life where I had no choice. I was separated from my first husband and I just couldn't feed my kids. So that was an experience that I hope I never have to go through again. Now, of course, I've lost count. So I just have, I think, 3 more. And these are starting to get pretty personal. But the next one is I do not wear regular, traditional bras of any kind. I only wear bralettes. And by that, I mean these stretchy, pull over the head, no hooks, no buckles, no nothing. And they have light padding here. You can pull those out. They're just little thin pads. But this is the only kind of covering I wear. I call it a bralette. And if I could go without even that, I will. Now, most of the time I can't because the type of clothing I wear. But I have a few pieces of clothing that I don't have to even wear this. And I love it because I cannot stand to have anything around me. And these are comfortable and stretchy. So no traditional bras for this girl. I have 2 more, and they are probably the most personal. You couldn't even think it's shocking, but I'm going to go ahead and let you know what they are because no reason not to. The next one is I do not wear underwear. Am I the only one that doesn't wear underwear? I have not bought a pair of underwear in, I don't know, 25, maybe 30 years. I wear shorts most of the time, and it's these kind that have like a built-in lining. I'll show you what I mean. You know, it looks like a covering of some kind, but it's a built-in lining. And I don't wear underwear in addition to this. This serves as underwear for me. And then when I wear a dress or a skirt, and I most always wear shorter dresses, like above the knee. And so, again, just to be safe, I will not put on underwear, but I'll put on a pair of these, like biker shorts. So in case the wind blows or you bend over and your dress comes up, you know, you won't moon somebody. So I'll wear this. Now that is something I know I've never said on my channel before. But you know, I'm free to be me, so I'm just letting it all out there. And the last one, which I have to admit is quite embarrassing, but it's the truth. So I don't mind sharing the truth. And that is when I had my first baby, I didn't really know where the baby would be born from. Now, before you think, oh my gosh, has she been under a rock? No. First of all, understand that I was brought up very different, very sheltered. I've talked about that before. Second of all, I had my first baby, my daughter, 55 years ago. That's a long time. Well, it'll be 55 years in May. Back then, there was no Google and research and books and DVDs and things like that to find any of this stuff out. And, you know, my parents were from the Depression era, and due to that time and their age, back then, parents didn't talk about any of that stuff. Well, I don't know, at least mine didn't. Maybe, you know, other parents did, but mine didn't. None of that stuff was ever discussed, and you wouldn't dare to think to ask your mother that kind of a question, or something personal like that. Also, I got married in May, and in August I found out I was pregnant, and then my daughter was born the following May. Well, of course, I went to the doctor every month and got checked and everything. And I know, where he examined me from, down there. So I just assumed that's where the baby comes out. And then when I went in the hospital into labor, the nurse was coming in and examining me about every hour or so. And she wasn't examining me there. She was examining me, in the back. It was a rectal exam. Well, I was totally confused. Again, I was 18 years old and didn't know a doggone thing. Well, I was scared to death because I thought, well, why is she doing that? At first, I thought it was just a nurse. Maybe she was new and didn't know what she was doing. She went in the wrong part. But then when the nurse's shift changed and, the uh, morning nurses went off and the afternoon nurses came on at 3 o'clock, that nurse did the same thing. Well, then I was just in a total panic because it didn't make sense to me. I mean, for what other reason would they be doing that? So, anyhow, I know that's probably too much information, but I know it's something you all don't know about me because I've never talked about it before. Now, today, before I started this video, I looked up on Google, why was I examined that way? And they said that that's for them to tell the position of the baby and the progression of labor and all that. And they're not commonly done now. It's usually the vaginal exam when you're going through labor. But back then, it was the rectal exam, is how they checked your progress. So that was my experience. I don't know if that happened to you all or anyone else. Uh, I have no idea. I wasn't in a big city hospital. I've always been in small towns. But again, things were very different back then, and there was nowhere to really get educated on that kind of thing. Well, I think that's enough surprising things to share with you that you most likely didn't know about me, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's fun. I like to share. I like to be open. I like to be honest. I don't like small talk and just chit chat. I want to just get down to the truth and just share on a personal level. So I hope it wasn't too much. All right, now I'll give you an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip comes from Numbers 6:24 through 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. I think that's such a beautiful scripture to refer to when we want to pray for someone and we just don't know what to pray. They could be in a situation that they're facing that is very difficult in their life, and we can't find the words. We don't even know what to ask God for in our prayers. This prayer, to me, is beautiful. This is like a prayer of protection for someone. It's a prayer that God will shine his light on that person and that he will give them peace no matter what the person is going through. I don't know about you, but I've had a few times in my life when somebody was ill, I mean, with a terminal illness, and I just didn't know what to pray for. It was hard to put it into words. I wanted them to still be here, but I didn't want them to be suffering. I wanted God's will to be done. You know, when you're emotionally charged and in distress, sometimes you just can't gather what you want to say in your prayer. So to me, this is perfect. I think it will bring that person everything that it says, that God will bless them, He will shine a light on them, and He will give them peace. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.